Hi, this is Julie Harland, and I'm your Math Gal. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where you could search for any of my videos organized by topic. This is part 2 of place value of whole numbers, and in this video we're going to learn how to write a number in words and also take a number that's written in words and write it with digits. So we have to remember how the place value system works. Remember, it's broken up sort of into 3 at a time. We've got the ones, the tens, the hundreds in each group, but then the second group here is in the thousands, the third group is in the millions, etc. So this number here, whatever would be in this second group, if I had a 5 right here, this would be in the 10,000s place. So here's an example. It says, write this number 5,032 in words. So what we want to do is we want to look over to the left as far as possible, and we see we're in the thousands place. We only have the number 5. So we have 5 in the thousands place. That's the only number there is. So we write 5,000. Now we don't use the word and at all until we start working with decimals. So we have 5,000, then we look at the next grouping of 3, and you just read the number that you see. The number is 32, right? You don't write 032. So you write 5,032. Okay, here's another example. All right, so we have this number. So what we do is we break it up really into the groupings here between the commas. And in the first grouping, all there is the number 2. So you read the number that you see, which is 2, and then you think, well, what grouping is it in? Now, the first one we don't write anything, but remember this is the thousands place and that's the millions place. So I have 2 in the millions place, so that's how we begin. We take this number over here, we see it's in the millions, and we just write the number that you see, which is 2. So we have 2 million. Then what? We look at the next grouping of 3, which is in the thousands place, and this is the number 80. So we write 80,000. And then we look at the next grouping, and at the very last grouping, all we do is write the number we see, which is 501. So all you really need to know is how to say a 3-digit number. So any number between 1 and up to 999. And then after you read that, you see if it's in the thousands or the millions or the billions, etc. Now, this is the way we, would write checks if we didn't have any cents attached to them. So if you've ever written a check, and let's say the check was for this, what you do, there's a place where you have to write it out in words, and you would write 2,000, right? 2 in the thousands place, and then in the next grouping is just the number 34. And then you should use a little line here, and there's the word dollars usually on your check. When there's a decimal point and some cents, we'll be doing that. We'll be covering that when I go over how to place values with decimals. Okay, here's another one for you to try. Write this number you see in words. Put the video on pause and try it on your own first. Okay, here we go. So we've got this grouping. There's only 2 groupings, right? The first one, how do you read this? We've got 503. So we've got 503. And then I see what grouping it's in. It's in the thousands place, right? Remember, over at the right, there's no name for that grouping. And then we've got the thousands. So it's 503,000. Then we look at the next part after the comma. That number's 900. And that's the end of that one. Now we're going to go the other way around. What if a number is given in words? How do we write that using the numerals themselves, the digits? Alright, so we're going to try to write each of these as a number using digits. So let's look at the first one, 42,008. Alright, so notice we've got the biggest numbers in the thousands place. So we know we're going to have a comma, and to the left of that we're going to write 42. So we have 42. Now after that we just have the number 8, but you've got to have 3 places here, so you can't just write the number like that. That's not going to work. So what you have to do is put leading zeros, and now we've got that number, 42,008. All right, let's look at the next one. 80 billion, 4 million, 16. Gosh, I've got all the way up to the the billions. So I'm going to just have a little help here. I'm going to say, well, where the heck is that billions place? I think it's all the way up here. We don't really say anything for this first grouping, or you sometimes call it the ones, but we've got the thousands, the millions, the billions. So I'm just going to write the thousands, the millions, the billions, just for myself to remember. So in the billions place, we have to write the number 80. Okay. In the millions place, we have to write the number 4. Now remember, we have to write that with 3 digits. So how would I write 4 with 3 digits? 004. Next place is the thousands. There's nothing in the thousands place, so how would I write that using 3 digits? And then lastly, just the number 16. How would you write that with 3 digits? And the way you could do it is just write 16 first and then just put the 0 in front of it. So in other words, you could have done the same thing here with 4. You could have written 4, but then you have to get 3 digits, so you have to put 2 zeros before it. So this is our number right here. And of course, how do you really write that? Like this. So it's a pretty big number. But that's how we would write 80 billion, 4 million, 16. So here are 3 for you to try. Put the video on pause and try these problems on your own. All right, first one, 907. Okay, there's nothing in the thousands, but millions, etc. So this would just be written, how do you write 907? You got 9 in the hundreds place, and you don't have any tens, right? So 907. Next one, 21,000. All right, we've got something in the thousands place, so we write 21. And then we have to say how many in the next grouping, and there's nothing. So what do you have to do? Put in 3 zeros. The last one, 5,042,735. Okay, I'm going to show this first with this grouping. It might be easier. You do not need to do this. All right, so in the millions, I've just got the number 5. Now, we don't have to put zeros in front of a number, right? Unless there's like another grouping coming up. We've got 42,000. So that's the next grouping is 1,000. So we write 42. But you have to have 3 digits. So in this case, you do need that 0 before here, because there's nothing in the hundred thousands place. And then the last grouping, 735. So that number we would just write 5, 0, 042, 735. And by the way, I'm writing it the way we do this in the United States. I know in some countries they put dots here instead of commas, but we use commas. All right, so now you know how to write numbers using digits, and also you know how to take numbers that are in digits and write it out in words. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where you can view all of my videos, which are organized by topic.